Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Rare Book Cafe, the Coffee Break Edition. I'm Linn at the Ridge Books in Calhoun, Georgia, and we're kind of having old home week today. Joining me is, of course, my co-host, Richard Mori of
Well,
Mori
hello,
Books.
Lee. Good
Good
morning.
morning, Richard.
How's the repair business going at the
Yeah,
house?
the repair business. I did not manage to do the repair myself last night, so the repairman is here now. Well, we'll get it fixed. And as a special, not really a guest, but our former
But he's
co-host,
still special.
very still special, Ed Markiewicz of Montgomery Rare Books, and he has been traveling and having all kinds of adventures. So for today and perhaps some other events, some other episodes too, we're going to hear about what's been going on with Ed. Welcome home, Ed.
Glad to be here. I was
Okay.
so excited. This was a little short notice, so I've been really revved up for the last 24 hours.
Well, good. So tell us what you've been doing.
Well, first of all, I want to ask Richard. I've been doing some bookbinding, and about a
Good.
year ago, I did some bookbinding for Richard. And I think I dropped the books off at the Brimfield Fair, and he said, "Oh, I'll send you a check." So he sends me a check. And a year ago, and somehow it got lost in the mail, wrong address. They send it back to him. He finally sends it to me. Look at these letters that he sends his check. Look at all the stamps. And I said to myself, I'll bet Richard buys stamps at garage sales, half price. Do you, Richard?
Well, not so much at the garage sale, but I do have a source that I have to keep secret, or I'd have to kill you.
You're like a
Yeah.
mafia
Well,
guy. You always know somebody.
I have some of those bargain stamps myself, so
Hey,
you're
why
not the
not?
only one on the hook.
In today's economy, you do what you can with what you got.
That's right.
Yes.
Anyways, I left the show in December 2024, and last year was a wonderful, wonderful year for me. I hiked the Camino, I traveled across Europe, then I hiked across Idaho, and then the culminated of the year and probably of my hiking life is I went to Nepal and I hiked the Annapurna Circuit and about two-thirds of the way to Everest Base Camp to the monastery that just had an amazing, amazing view of the mountain. And then this year I did another Camino. I hiked the Camino Tolosano, which is from Arles, France to Toulouse, France. It was 300 miles. I did it in 18 days. And of course, along the way, I was going to churches and villages and French restaurants, but always looking for a bookstore.
And is it true they have them like up in the villages at 4,000 feet near the,
I'm afraid that's not true.
oh,
But
okay.
you might find up there is a little library. Remember we did a show on the little
Yeah,
libraries?
yeah.
Yeah, some of these villages, they probably got, 20, 30 houses at the most. They've got the little libraries.
Well, that's good. And I assume you did some shopping along the way.
You know, I did just before I went, I had my annual physical. I said, Doc, I got this problem. She says, Well, tell me what it is and see if I can help. He said, I can't help buying books. I can't. She said, Well, the only thing that would work for that is sleeping pills, and that way you wouldn't be able to go into a bookstore.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I bought a few things. You want to see some?
yeah,
We do.
sure.
All right, all right. Well, the first one is this little one here. Um, it's a little postcard of JFK. It's in plastic. You might be getting a little postcard of JFK, and on the back it was written by Jackie. Jackie Kennedy wrote this postcard. I picked it up in Arles, France. I look at it, and the date says 12-4-63. And I'm thinking December 4th, that's only 2 weeks after the assassination. This card is pretty valuable for under 100 euros. And then I look at the stamp, and it says 12 April 1963. I had it backwards.
Well,
But
a
still,
lot
it's
of
a cute
countries
little
do it
thing.
backwards to us. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Was
And
it,
she writes a short note to a friend promising to write a much longer letter later.
and where was it mailed to? It wasn't mailed to
It was,
France,
it
was
was
it?
actually mailed to Germany.
Huh.
Actually, it has a German address, Hamburg 72, Germany. Mrs. O. Philippe Porce-Gonderet.
So it's been around. It's made some.
I feel like our friend out in Orange County doing things found in old books. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He's still
But this,
finding
I'm going to
too.
start off with what I think one of the highlights, and this is a journal, a seaman's journal, an apprenticeship a journal. It was written by a 15-year-old apprentice
Oh,
on a Spanish ship in 1835. Okay, so he was born in 1820. He had just spent 2 years in a Spanish academy, and they were out there to interdict slave traders and rum runners, I guess, anybody trying to break the levee on the North Coast. And it's a fabulous book because you can tell it's so exact. He used everything he learned in school. Look at here's a wheel. I don't know if you see that well, but this wheel he drew and he filled it out. There's like four wheels in here like that. One is for the armaments and who gets the pistols, who gets the rifles, who's in charge of the cannonball. Another wheel was a ship's duty. Um, well, it turns out that the young man who wrote that was Jose Marie Beranger. And you can see here, here's his Wikipedia page. That young sailor went on to be one of the most senior, to be the senior admiral of the Spanish Navy for almost 22 years.
Wow.
wow.
Isn't that
Where
cool?
did you find this?
I found this particular one in Toulouse. So the Camino Tolosano goes from Arles to Toulouse, 300 miles. And I found this in the bookstore in Toulouse. Toulouse had many, many wonderful bookstores. And I probably bought something in each of them, and I'll probably show you something from each of them later. Now, I said part of getting into retirement of book selling was I'd only do paper, interesting paper. And I wouldn't do books anymore. Well, I'm not doing, first editions Through the Woods. But there's a few books I just can't help but pick up. Obviously, a manuscript books are amongst them. And I picked up this fabulous little book with color illustrations. It's anonymous, but I could tell from these two, this is the abbreviation for the Society of Jesus. So one Jesuit wrote it, and the other Jesuit illustrated it. It's the marriage of Dr. Philosophe, and it has just some wonderful, wonderful illustrations in here. Now here's one with the cow. It is falling apart. Here's one with the cow who
Oh.
plays a central role.
Hmm.
Um, uh, well, I'll go to the last scene because I know the last scene is uh, here's the mother and her daughter, and here is here's the last scene of the book where everybody in the village gets together for the marriage.
Wow.
So what I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about trying to get it published. Turn it into a young child, young adult story or something like that, rather
Interesting.
than just resell it.
Do you know when it was written?
Well, judging it does, there's no date. I'm thinking somewhere around World War One, because some of the mentions in here, it was in the teens, probably in the 19 teens. So, 120 years ago,
Yeah.
because it did have something like a telephone in the story. Yeah. So I think, there's one more other book that I got, and this is a book of 130 letters. Okay. And all of these letters were written to George Duhamel. George Duhamel was a famous French writer in the first half of the century. He was actually nominated for the Nobel Prize 21 times. And all of these letters are from April 1945 until about 1950. And it was the rebuilding of the publishing industry in France after the war. Some of the people that wrote these letters went to concentration camps. Some of them wrote underground newspapers during the war. Now that the war's over, they're starting their publishing companies back up again. And George Duhamel was like the intellectual leader of the group, but he was also the one that figured out who got the paper, who got the ink, how things in the rationing world were to be handled amongst all of the publishers.
So
So
the letters are written to him.
these were letters written to him by other by mostly owners of, founders of, or senior members of publishing companies, either talking about, they wanted to do a brand new edition of the Larousse Dictionary. People wanted him to write an author's blurb for their upcoming book. I picked up what I call the Sub Kings. Now, I I picked up signatures documents of the kings or the leaders of France. And I didn't get Louis the 14th, but I did get Louis the 15th. Can you see that there?
Whoa.
That's Louis the 15th. I did get Louis Philippe. He was the king around 1830 after the Napoleons.
So, Ed, the royalty signatures,
Yeah.
they must be much more common in Europe.
They are. They are. I mean, these things may end up being eBay items if nothing else. But it's still kind of, for me, being cool, an
So,
autograph
are they
collector.
priced in the $50 to $100 euro range, or
The 150 to $200 euro
okay,
after dealer discount.
yeah,
But I can they sell on eBay for anywhere from 500 to 1,000.
yeah.
Especially these next two items. Look at this one. This one's particularly special. This one will be more than 1,000. This is a certificate. I don't know if you can see it. So, typical certificate, but it's for the Légion d'Honneur, a member of the Legion of Honor. And this one is signed by Napoleon Bonaparte, conferring the French Legion of Honor onto a major. And finally, I've had this one. This is Louis Bourbon. Now, Louis Bourbon was the illegitimate son of Louis the 14th, but still he was a son, right? So he banished him off to southern France, and he got Louis Bourbon had some responsibilities that his father, the Sun King, ascribed to him. And in this document here, which you can see still has the wax seal attached to it, which is really cool, Louis Bourbon is directing a general to take charge of northwestern France to build fortresses along the coast and to properly distribute ammunitions amongst all of the units. Well, all of these documents, you'll know, some of them are in Spanish, some of them are in French. One of them I didn't even show you is in German. And I come back, and last time I did this, I went on Upworks and I hired somebody. It was Latin. I hired somebody for about 75 bucks to translate these documents into English for me. Now I'm using AI. I take a picture of it, upload it to Claude. Claude gives me the French translation, the English translation, and then it analyzes the letter. It analyzes the ship logbook and gives me a summary of what the person wrote. So I have to say, for the first time in my life, I've actually seen the power of AI and used it in the book business.
Wow. Well, more and more that's going to happen.
Oh, now that I see the power, I can think of so many other things book dealers are going to be able to do
Yeah.
with AI. You guys might even want to have a show on this one.
Yeah, that's interesting because there's still a lot of pushback in the trade on
Yeah.
that.
But let's say a book, what do you cut and paste from AI to put into your catalogs?
Yeah. Well,
And if you
yeah,
do that, do you cite AI or do you not?
right. Well, and in fact, just to simplify it a little more, Google Lens
Mhm.
is, using AI now too. So you get, that's on pretty much everybody's phone.
Yeah, well, I think if we have so many good organizations, ABAA, IOBA, and plus all the local book communities. I think it's about time for them to be, publishing something about AI in their code of ethics.
Well, that actually is a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ought to do the show on that. Um, I actually, our last one of our last guests, uh, we might want to talk to. Um, it, I think that would be an interesting show.
Anyway, just an idea, but I saw for the first time the power of AI, and it really shocked me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what's been going on around here have been rumors of data centers and
Oh yeah.
and pushback about those. And our city council is assuring us that there have been no formal inquiries, but there are big enough tracts of land close to the center of our small town. And, that could provide enough space for data centers.
Hmm.
And there's been a lot of concern around here about that aspect of AI, about the need for these huge data centers with huge requirements of electricity and water. So, there's something on all sides of this. But you
Sure.
look up anything on Google nowadays, and what you get first is the AI
Yeah.
description of it. And I had
The
a
interest,
long AI conversation with Walmart the other day. Uh, that didn't resolve anything, but it sounded really it
but
sounded like a person.
Yeah.
the interesting part of the data centers that no one's talking about is back up 50 years, 60 years, a computer took up the entire size
Right,
of a room,
right,
a big room,
right.
okay?
And now it takes up
Now it's
that.
just in the hand,
Yeah,
sits in our hand. So what do you think is going to happen to data centers down the road? The technology is going to get so advanced that they're not going to need these big facilities,
yeah,
and yet they're building them like
yeah,
they're going out of style. And I mean the quantum computer stuff, which I have no idea about. I mean, I really don't grasp that fully. Um, is moving in such speed now. I don't know this conversation about data centers is going to last that long.
yeah. Well,
Well, I
it
mostly
may
care
not.
how it affects book dealers and book buyers and
Right, yeah. And
everybody
and
else.
I think that would be a good program.
I'm not
That
normally a
would certainly be.
NIMBYist.
Uh,
Yeah.
Anyways, Richard, you just sent me an email recently, told me about what's coming up in June. You are one busy bee, man.
Well, we kind of there's a book show coming up June 7th in Concord, New Hampshire at the Everett Arena. Um, the the dealers are coming out of the woodwork this last week. I can't tell you. I've had a half a dozen calls in the last few days, and then 2 weeks after that, we're going to be in Boxborough. The emphasis is on paper, ephemera, maps, photos, and other paper, but there'll be books there too. And that's June 20th at Boxborough Regency Hotel, just off of 495 in Boxborough. Uh, and then we get a little break for the summer. We have, I'll be traveling around shows in Maine. I'm going to be in Rhode Island. I haven't been to Rhode Island in years. On July 4th, I've got a show in Triverton, Rhode Island. It's an antique show. And of course, Brimfield again. We had a wonderful Brimfield. The crowds were stupendous this in May. We couldn't believe the crowds. We haven't seen them like that in 20 years. So yeah, it's a busy, busy time.
yeah, it has, and reports, have been so positive this year, and crowds have been good. The Atlanta show, uh, we've had a show in Atlanta for the first time in 7 years, and we had mobs who were buying, and they were not coming in and looking and debating and all this. They were coming into the booth and saying, "I want that,"
Yep.
which was really great.
Yep.
It's really
It
great. And
was.
Things are great in the bibliosphere.
yeah, and
So,
I
so
assume are you signed up for Atlanta already for next year?
I am.
Me too.
I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. this weekend at the University Club,
Okay.
which will be fun. Like that. I've been there a couple times already. Nice place. They treat us really well. Although I have to bring polished shoes for that event. It's
Check your wardrobe a little bit,
yeah.
but
Oh, yeah. I had to it's a coat to get into the bar.
yeah, we remember your experiences there. Yeah.
No flip-flops, huh?
Well,
No flip flops.
I know that there are a lot more things that happened on your travels that we want to hear about.
Oh, well, yeah, there have been a couple things. So,
Well, on your
Terry,
not on well your travels, but on Ed's travels.
well, actually, I
Well,
just
invite
want
me
to
back
ask,
someday.
We will. We'll have you back.
All
I
right.
wanted to ask Ed, are you missing us when you're in the Alps looking at these grand vistas? And you
I miss
say,
you when I watch the
oh,
show.
Oh,
Alan,
okay.
Richard, why aren't you here with me?
Well, we've missed you too. We've missed you
All right.
too.
Thank you
Um,
very much. It's very kind of you. Namaste,
okay.
as
Namaste.
they say in Nepal.
So we'll look forward to more reports from Ed on the road.
I think I
And
got enough to do one more show.
huh?
I think I've got enough stuff around here to do one more show.
I think you
Whenever you're
probably
ready.
do. I
Remember,
think you probably do.
you need a fill in, just give me a jingle.
Okay. So thank you so much for being with us, and thank you to everyone out there for watching us. Send in your suggestions and your comments. You can find us on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, and we are brought to you in part by the Florida Antiquarian Book Fair. So on behalf of my beloved co-hosts here, uh, we'll see you next time.
Take
Bye-bye.
care, everyone.
Oh.
Buy books.
And read them.
And read them. Wouldn't that be novel?